Now, I want to back up on what you just said a bit earlier as well with Draymond, because there has been a lot of news going around with Draymond right now. With the max extension, you've seen that the Golden State Warriors
Yeah.
might not be willing to give him the max extension, and Draymond would be willing to leave the Warriors if he didn't get it. That's being said by The Athletic, and Draymond's even backed this up with I think it's on his podcast or his talk show or something like that. He said he's always wanted to play for the Detroit Pistons, and remember that a couple years ago, there were big talks about Draymond potentially going to Portland. Remember, Damian Lillard was really advocate on trying to trade for him. If this doesn't work out, let's just say the Golden State Warriors, for some odd reason, don't want to give him the max. Do you see him going to Portland or Detroit, or do you think the Warriors will give in, or he'll eventually give in and sign cheaper?
I think he gonna give in and sound cheaper. And honestly, I think that would be in Golden State's best interest to get him because I don't think he's worth like I'm a keep it a step. It's a lot of players I don't believe I don't believe deserve the contract they're getting. Yes, I understand salary caps is higher than we've ever seen before, and there's a lot of money to go around. But Draymond Green should not be getting max dollars when he's not giving you max stats. Yes, he's a great piece for Golden State. He is probably a key to Golden State's success, but it's not to a point where if you plug Draymond Green on 29 other teams, will he be looking like a max player? No. Right, which is where you have to factor that in. Now, if you drop Curry on 29 other teams, will he be look like a max player? Absolutely. If you did that with Klay Thompson, absolutely. LeBron James, absolutely. This is why we pay those type of players. They deserve their money. But when you're giving Draymond Green, let's say 180 plus, that's not realistic. Like Rudy Gobert, that's not realistic.
Ooh.
Those type of money is not realistic. And I think Draymond Green understands that too. But of course, he's gonna market himself. Like I'm not gonna slap him in the face for that because that's what he's supposed to do. Like of course, he's gonna say, yeah, I'm considering Detroit because we know this is his hometown. But let's be real here. Draymond Green understands the real right now. He's not going from a championship contender team to a team who, if he joins, might be a 7-6 seed in the East and then knocked out in the first round for a couple extra $1 million.
You know
that
what?
Is not.
This might be the first time really ever that I fully disagree with you right now. I think Draymond Green should be paid the max contract. Because, and the reason I'm saying this is, if Draymond Green leaves the Golden State Warriors, I think there will be a little bit of an effect where they not fall apart, but they will lose much more games. You remember when he got injured last season, they had a pretty bad losing streak, and they were losing nearly as many games as they were winning at one stage. Not just that, there is a team out there that would double its value if Draymond Green went to them, and that is the Portland Trailblazers. I cannot stress enough how much better the Trailblazers would be with Damian Lillard. And let me elaborate on this right now. They have absolutely no defense whatsoever other than Jeremy Grant. Their defense is piss poor. It is so bad. Draymond Green is a top 5 defender in the league. I don't want to hear arguments at this point. His stats all back it up. If you're adding Draymond Green to that Portland Trailblazers team, you slot him at the 4, can play the small ball 5, Jeremy Grant the 3 or 4. The defense skyrockets right there. Not just that, Draymond Green, who's a point forward, the type of guy who's going to average 8+ assists per season. If you were to partner him up with a dude like Damian Lillard, that would be scary. Like, that would legitimately be a little bit of a discount version of what they've got going on in Golden State right now with Steph and Draymond. Damian Lillard has never played with a dude like Draymond who'd be able to feed him the ball like that. He's never even had anyone who can set that, good of screenplays like Draymond Green can do. He knows how to fit in a great system with ball movement. And if he's got Damian Lillard, Jeremy Grant, Yusuf Nurkic, Anthony Simons, all to pass to, who are all terrific catch and shoot players, except maybe Nurkic, I mean, I can see that Trailblazers team being really, really solid. In my opinion, he could be one of the missing pieces that they desperately need, other than more defense and bench depth. So I do think there is a market there for Draymond Green to get the max. I do think Portland will be sitting right there, and they will be looking at potentially giving him a max contract. And there will be other teams that come knocking. Like, I reckon in a couple months, there'll be, like, Detroit. I mean, even though he might not be the best fit, Jesus Christ, Draymond Green in Detroit would be scary. You know what I mean? They're not paying a whole lot of dudes right now. I think once the season ends, there's a market there as well. So I think there is a market for Draymond Green to get the max. And I think if Golden State don't offer it to him, other teams will. So I'm not saying he'll leave, but I do think there is a market for Draymond Green out there. And I also think he would elevate a lot of teams so much better. Me and you have got Portland as probably a play-in team right now, because we know they're missing a lot. They're missing a crap load of defense. They're, I think, missing a second playmaker even. They're just missing another all-star caliber guy. Draymond nearly ticks every single box that I've just mentioned right there. If you were to add some more big man depth to that Portland team as well, like another center, preferably an interior dude, bring in some bench guys, Jesus Christ, that Portland team would be crazy. But you know me, I got excited about Portland's prospects last time. And what happened? They absolutely just stunk out the offseason. So I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah. That's why I'm just a little hesitant. Because I just, like, and this probably, like you said, this is probably the first time we just strongly disagree.
Yeah.
I just don't think, let's say hypothetically Draymond goes to Portland, I don't think he really pushes the needle that far. Right now, as Portland is constructed right now, him and Dame, I agree with you. At that part, I do think they would be very great together because of how Draymond makes sure Damian Lillard would be able to get the rock. This would be the closest thing to Steph Curry, because Dame does not get a lot of credit for what he does. He does a lot of Curry-like things.
Yep. And
technically, statistically, he shoots at a longer range more consistently than Curry. Fun fact. But the problem I have with this is not because of Dame. It's because of the rest of the team, right? Because, yes, you said discount version. I think it would be a huge discount version, because who's going to be the Klay Thompson? Who's going to be a Jordan Poole? Who's on that team that's even Andrew Wiggins?
Simons could be the Jordan Poole. And I'm just saying, Jeremy Grant, though, low-key, is still a dude that can average you 17 to 20 points per game. Great three-point shooter, great defender. I mean, every player on that Trailblazers team is going to be a discount to what they've got in Golden State.
But is Jeremy Grant doing that consistently enough?
Well, we don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see, I think, because we haven't really seen... I mean, in Detroit, he was supposed to be the number one guy.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And then Fernie Simons, he was supposed to already be at CJ McCollum level. Yet, I mean, the only time he came kind of close to that level is when Dame and CJ was not on the team. So he had all the free time to get those type of points. So it's like, all right, now if you do plug in a Dame, let's say you plug in a Draymond, who's going to probably have the ball a lot in his hands to move it out. You got Nurkic, who they should have re-signed.
Nah, yeah, I agree with that.
I just don't have faith in the team overall. I just don't think that's even like a hair close to what the Golden State Warriors has built so far. I just don't think. Now, yes, would they be good enough to make the playoff? Absolutely. I do think that would be a 6th or maybe a 5th seed team, depending on injuries. But if we assume everybody's healthy, I just don't think that's enough. I think they'll be out in the first round with that team if Draymond were to go there. I don't think the offense is consistent enough, because all those players you named before, they haven't shown us so far that they're consistent. Now, a perfect world of Fernie Simons' development from last season to this season would be crazy.
That's what I'm about to say. Could you imagine what happens if, like, Nurkic actually stays healthy, Simons pops off, does those type of numbers, and then Jeremy Grant does his thing? They've still got Josh Hart and Gary Payton, like, good defenders there. Yeah. Just imagine, like, if that team did actually pop off.
But that would be kind of the gem, or the lucky gamble there is a Fernie Simons. Will a Fernie Simons have a development year where he jumps? because that's why they pay Fernie Simons that money, because they in their mind they figured a Fernie Simons would be CJ McCollum at the very least. So if this season he jumps to that, all right, you replace CJ McCollum for a cheaper contract. You got Dame still, and you added two more pieces, and you got Josh Hart. All right, but if that doesn't happen, I mean, can you really say this team would be better?
They just need center depth, man. Like, I don't understand how they went into this off season and they brought Yusuf Nurkic in for like $18 million. He barely plays. Like, let's just say, I think he'll play half this season. That's my honest prediction. I hope he plays the whole season. It'd be awesome if he did. Let's just say he plays half. I don't even know who their backup center is. And then, once he starts starting, they're going to have to sign me or you to come play backup center for them because they've got no one else. Like, Dame's going to be playing backup center. I don't know how they're going to do that. And again, that's another reason why Draymond would be perfect because, like, this team seems like they're trying to go very small ball as well. Seems like that's the direction. In an NBA where a lot of teams are trying to imitate what the Cavaliers built, the Trailblazers said, nah, we don't want that. And they're going to go a lot smaller. Even Nurkic isn't a good interior dude. Like, he'll shoot threes and be a injured version of Nikola Vucevic, just maybe with a better interior scoring game. But at the end of the day, his defense is just, I mean, it's just not existed. But I do think Portland should be looking at Draymond. Will he leave? Probably not. He's got a good thing going on in Golden State. But at the end of the day, I think Damian Lillard would make a good case to get him to the team. So you might look at that.